Hello, it is finally here. Game preview time. Steelers at Jets. I'm pretty psyched, I'll be honest. I'm recording this Thursday. I am pretty psyched to watch football the next two nights, let alone dig into Steelers and all the other games on Sunday and then into Monday. If you're new around here, I will record my Steeler post-game thoughts. Will be the next time I talk to you guys right after. Actually, it's a 1 o'clock game, so I'll do it during the 7 o'clock hour before the Sunday night game. So you'll get it shortly after. So I've got a handful of bullet points on both sides of the ball I want to talk about here. Now let's talk about when the Steelers have the football. I very, very much expect Sauce Gardner to follow Metcalf around a very high percentage of the time. Now, that's not what he did with the Jets in the past. They were a left-right team. They were a heavy zone team. But the Lions, who this staff mostly comes from, Aaron Glenn, new head coach, were the most man-heavy team in the league. And they would follow with corners, even though they didn't have a Sauce-type guy. They'd match up. Let's say put it that way. And they just gave Sauce huge money. They're going to use him. So I think that favors Gardner, to be honest with you. He did not have a phenomenal year last year. It'll be a good battle, a crucial battle. But the size is something that Sauce can actually handle. Now, I don't know if the Steelers can exploit this, but former Raven Brandon Stevens is the other corner. He can be picked on. I was really shocked they signed him. He's talented, but he can't find the ball, and he allows a lot of production. He has good size as well. So can Wilson Austin beat up on him? We'll see. I mean, again, this could be a good case for why you need number 2 receiver. But I think Metcalf versus Sauce is as big a matchup as you'll see in this game. Another great player they have on defense is Quinnen Williams. He's a Cam Hayward level defensive tackle, top 5, 6, 7, something like that. Interior line's going to have their hands full with him. They're going to have to double him quite a bit, run and pass. He's just a disruptive player and a great one. The other thing about him is not that they use him like Casey Hampton as a space eater, but he makes it more difficult to get big bodies on their second level guys. His brother and Sherwood are a really active, underrated group of off-the-ball linebackers. You got to get big bodies on them. They run really well. That outside zone that the Steelers are going to run a ton of, they get to the edge quickly, these linebackers, and especially with Williams in the middle on the D-line, it can be difficult to get tight ends, linemen, etc., out to that level. So keep an eye on that. Are they getting big bodies on these linebackers in the run game? They're also pretty good in coverage. They cover a lot of ground. They're smart, middle of the field, all those good things. And they're pretty good against tight ends in general, Williams and Sherwood. Speaking of tight ends, I want to see how the Jets counter the Steelers' 13 personnel. Now, this isn't a Steelers-Jets specific thing. It's just something that's just game one. You know, I'm sure defensive coordinators out there are familiar with. We're probably going to get a lot of 13 from the Steelers, especially after trading for Jonnu Smith. What's our plan? Are they going to see nickel? Are they going to see base? Who knows? But I'm just going to be really aware of what the league thinks about when combating Steelers' 13 personnel package. This episode is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Hiring can be time-consuming, sorting through tons of resumes, trying to get in touch with every potential candidate. Well, the future of hiring looks much brighter because ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features speed up finding the right people so you save valuable time. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Use ZipRecruiter and save time hiring. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/audio right now, you can try it for free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so you can join in on all the action.
Hey guys, if you're planning to see a Steelers game, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into your app alerts. The app is easy to use. No surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. If you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DK Steelers into your app profile to get $20 off your first purchase.
All right, how about when the Steelers are on defense? I'm really fond, first off, I've bet just a bunch during the week, of the way the Jets built the last 2 years. Offensive tackle in the first round, offensive tackle in the first round. You know that's right up my alley. Steelers did the same thing. And Membo was my favorite offensive lineman in this entire draft. Still, it's his first ever start, and he's going to be against TJ Watt a ton. Now, I do think this is not what they did last year, but I think their usage of 12 personnel will really go up this year. So I think you'll have tight ends probably helping both tackles, but Highsmith's going to play. Fashanu, you might remember, the Penn State dude, is the left tackle. He's also really talented. So edge guys, I don't know if Herbig will play or not. Edge guys versus big-time talented but very under-experienced offensive tackles will be huge. As much in the run game as anything. I mean, the Jets are going to run the heck out of the ball. And Watt's like the best edge defender in the league against the run. I mean, we think immediately about the pass. Yeah, and that's certainly relevant. But getting to the edge with Breece Hall, Fields on designed runs, can they, seal off Highsmith and Watt? I have my doubts. I also have a bullet point here of just the entire defensive front against a young but talented offensive line. Tippmann, the center's promising young player. He was a second-round pick. And the elephant in the room is Vera Tucker, their right guard, is now out for the year. He was a former first-round pick, been in the league a few years, hurt a ton. This is a huge blow to the Jets. I mean, the O-line looked like it was going to be a developing strength, a lot of resources put there like the Steelers, and now they got to dip into the well already of, backups. So the entire front versus a young D-line is really interesting to me. And what's also really interesting to me is I'm operating under the assumption that Cam Hayward's playing. Now, we know that Harmon is not, but none of these guys are going to be in great shape on either side of the ball. No one's played extensive snaps, and the Jets are going to run. And I just think the Steelers D-line, even if Cam plays, I do not want him playing 70% of the snaps. I mean, he's done nothing since the Steelers got eliminated. And they're going to run the ball as long as they absolutely possibly can. And I'm just worried about fatigue and getting deep into the Logan Lees and Loudermilks and those type of guys, especially late in the game. I mean, if this game is 14-13 in the fourth quarter, you might get 75% run from the Jets, and those 4-yard carries might start turning into 7 and 8 yard carries at that point. So no one's going to be in shape and healthy, compared to mid-season form. You could see them starting to get pushed around as the game goes on, and that would be a problem. Another really interesting one-on-one matchup, kind of like the Sauce Metcalf thing to me, is Garrett Wilson. Like the Steelers, but they don't have the tight ends. They really only have one wide out that's really a top guy, and it's Wilson. But the Steelers have 3 corners, Ramsey, Slay, and Porter. Will they just line them up wherever they line and shade some help to Wilson? Well, in the past, I would say Porter would follow him like crazy, but do they have to do that anymore? Would it be Ramsey? Now, I don't think the Steelers will be a nickel a whole lot because I think you're going to see heavier personnel. Their receiver room is really bad. They're going to try to stay out of 11, I would think. So I think you're going to have 4 defensive backs on the field, which usually means Ramsey's a safety. So that would make it difficult to follow if the only safety on the field's Elliott. You know what I mean? So maybe with him, I mean, another one of their corners could follow and you could put Ramsey over the top. But basically, like, you got to look at it like, don't let Garrett Wilson beat us. If we roll coverages heavily his direction and their other, pass catchers have enough of a production to beat you, so be it. But you got the corners. You got to make Wilson's life really, really difficult. I talked about how much I think the Jets are going to run the football. I think you need to make Fields throw, especially from the pocket. I think he's still very much a work in progress. He is a see it and throw it guy. His time to throw is very, very high. Now, I guess a big point of emphasis for this new coaching staff has been working on the quick game with Justin, get the ball out, etc. So maybe it comes out a little quicker. But we know even with his elusiveness and his athleticism, if he's going to hold the ball an extended amount of time, he's going to get hit a lot. So if you can make him throw from the pocket, turn this into a drop back passing game, I think the Jets are in a world of trouble. He just holds the ball way too long. They don't have the weapons. Talked about the pass rush versus a talented but now depleted and very young offensive line. So those are my defensive keys. And there's others, but I'm just talking about like the bullet points here. My special team bonus for you here. How about this? The Jets only made 71.4% of their field goals last year. Think about that. That is so bad. Only the Browns and Falcons were worse. The Steelers made 93.2%. Only the Bucs were better. So this is projected to be, by Vegas, the lowest over-under total of the week by a pretty wide margin from what I understand. So if it comes down to a special teams game, a kicker game, which it absolutely could, clearly that favors the Steelers. Clearly. I don't expect this one to be super pretty, folks. I think the Steeler D should do a really good job, although the D-line depth and late in the game does worry me a little. Vera Tucker coming out of the picture definitely makes that more palatable, though. I'm not a huge Justin Fields believer, but I also think the Steeler offense could struggle. I mean, if Metcalf has a long day, if Quentin Williams causes a lot of problems and the run defense is quite good, Steelers could be rusty and not in their best shape, best form early on. On the road, first real game of the year. I have the Steelers winning it, but only 17-16. I can see it coming down to Boz at the end, making a kick. Okay, you get out of there with a win. The style points aren't going to be super important. I don't expect this to be the prettiest of games. Still, it's a losable one, but the Steelers are just the clearly better roster. It's first-time head coach's first ever game. You know what I mean? Like, how's he with calling timeouts and game management? And those things are learned, So I do like the Steelers' chances. 1-0 would be big. 0-1 would be terrible losing this team. But I got them winning 17-16. All right, everyone. Take care. Over and out.